Seek only light and freedom, and do not immerse yourself too deeply in the worldly mire.
The expert in anything was once a beginner.
Life is not about perfection. It's about persistence.
Failure is not when you fail once, but when you refuse to learn from your mistake. The sidelines may be safer, but life is played on the field. If I had it all to do again, there would be more bodies.
He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. If you don't control your mind, someone else will.
It is much easier to be brave if you do not know everything.
When you have a dream, you've got to grab it and never let go.
As for methods of prayer, all are good as long as they are sincere.
Don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. It had never occurred to me that our lives, which had been so closely interwoven, could unravel with such speed.
What is to be, will be, and no prayers of ours can arrest the decree. Music in the soul can be heard by the universe. There's nothing you can't do if you want it bad enough.
Every man should lose a battle in his youth, so he does not lose a war when he is old.
It's better this way, sister. There's more to life than staying safe. A man should look for what is, and not for what he thinks should be.
Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Discipline your mind to see the good in every situation, and look on the best side of every event. Defeat is not the worst of failures. Not to have tried is the true failure.
In war, practice dissimulation, and you will succeed. A battering ram can knock down a city wall, but it cannot stop a hole. Different things have different uses. Every ounce of my cynicism is supported by historical precedent.
Thought is so cunning, so clever, that it distorts everything for its own convenience. You only struggle because you're ready to grow, but aren't willing to let go.
You must take life the way it comes at you and make the best of it.
Words don't have the power to hurt you unless that person meant more to you than you are willing to confess.
I do not know everything. Still many things I understand.
The mind is everything, what you think you become.
Don't share your personal life with anyone. Do not let anyone have anything that could harm you. In order to form an immaculate member of a flock of sheep, one must, above all, be a sheep. Men do less than they ought, unless they do all they can. In making tactical dispositions, the highest pitch you can attain is to conceal them.
I've often mused over the idea that madness is actually a sane reaction to an insane world.
Once you bid farewell to discipline, you say goodbye to success.
Very occasionally, you pay really close attention. Life doesn't suck. Do not despise your own place and hour. Every place is under the stars. Every place is the center of the world. What consumes your mind controls your life.
If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. A single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic.
It is safer to search in the maze than to remain in a cheeseless situation.
So the important thing in a military operation is victory, not persistence. Savor everything. Cling to nothing. Live now, because living then won't be any better.
Even a snail will eventually reach its destination. Nobody made a greater mistake than he who did nothing, because he could do only a little. We could only choose which path to take to our destination. What happened along the way was entirely up to chance. When life doesn't meet your expectations, it was important to take it with grace.
Some people could look at a mud puddle and see an ocean with ships. All I do is lie, and that has made me immune to compliments.
There are no classes in life for beginners. Right away, you're always asked to deal with what is most difficult. The truth has always been a more complex commodity than the market can easily package and sell. If you only write when inspired, you may be a fairly decent poet. You'll never be a novelist. We remember the past, live in the present, and write the future.
The true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination.
Never stop fighting, never stop dreaming.
Have enough courage to start, and enough heart to finish.
When seeing the simple truth means recognizing that we're in sin, we would rather see things as being complicated. Man is but a reed, the most feeble thing in nature, but he is a thinking reed. No matter what you do, someone always knew you would.
You can change your mind. Don't let your mind change you.
Pursue what catches your heart, not what catches your eyes.
Don't fear big. Fear mediocrity. Fear waste. Fear the lack of living to your fullest.
Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened.
Politeness is the first thing people lose once they get the power. Thinking something does not make it true. Wanting something does not make it real.
If life gives you any trouble, punch it in the face. Time doesn't heal emotional pain. You need to learn how to let go.
Dining with the king. Your attire, attitude, and mentality must change.
Chase after the truth like all hell, and you'll free yourself, even though you never touch its coattails. The only thing that makes life possible is permanent, intolerable uncertainty, not knowing what comes next.
The most common form of despair is not being who you are.
The only person that has power to put boundaries on your dreams is you. I've heard that the soul often recognizes truth when it hears it, even if the mind does not. For your peace of mind, don't let people know too much about you.
In the haunted house of life, art is the only stair that doesn't creak. Breathing control gives man strength, vitality, inspiration, and magic powers.
It doesn't matter where your journey begins, so long as you begin it. Life is a drama full of tragedy and comedy. You should learn to enjoy the comic episodes a little more.
A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it.
Supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting. I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is the garbage man or the president of the university.
But only he who, himself enlightened, is not afraid of shadows.
The fact that you aren't where you want to be should be enough motivation.
Great knowledge is universal. Small knowledge is limited. Great words are inspiring. Small words are chatter. Go to heaven for the climate and hell for the company.
Sometimes you need a little crisis to get your adrenaline flowing and help you realize your potential. What others think about you is none of your business.
The storm is what they threw at me. The hurricane is what I became. The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off.
It doesn't matter how far it is for you to reach your goal. What matters is your aim to succeed.
People who keep stiff upper lips find that it's damn hard to smile.
If someone tells you you can't, they're showing you their limits. not yours.
I live in my own little world, but it's okay. They know me here. In a time of deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
Life without any wonder left in it is flat and stale. The most important questions in life can never be answered by anyone except oneself. I had a dream about you last night. You were a giant slinky, and I watched you fall down the stairs. Because I don't live in either my past or my future. I'm interested only in the present. There are ships sailing to many ports, but not a single one goes where life is not painful. Every single person is sacred. Sacred means special, precious, a treasure of true beauty. That means you. Stress is a consequence of negative happenings or impact in life, but important is how to overcome it. No matter what happens or how bad it seems today, life does go on and it will be better tomorrow.
If you fight with all your might, there is a chance of life, whereas death is certain if you cling to your corner. If you listen to critics for too long, you will become deaf to success.
Do the best you can with what you can, while you can, and success is inevitable. Please go for your dreams. Whatever your ideals, you can become whatever you want to become.
Gratitude creates hope, and hope activates the law of attraction.
The lessons of life amount not to wisdom but to scar tissue and callus. Even if you don't have all the things you want, be grateful for the things you don't have that you don't want. The reason I talk to myself is because I'm the only one whose answers I accept. See yourself as you really are. Accept the good and the bad. Only then can you truly share yourself with another. Despite how entertaining certain stories were, at the bottom of every item of gossip, there was someone getting hurt. The logical man must either deny all miracles or none. Trust yourself. You know more than you think you do. When I was growing up, I always wanted to be someone. Now I realize I should have been more specific. The thing about a spiral is if you follow it inward, it never actually ends. It just keeps tightening, infinite. Nevertheless, life and death are mysterious states, and we know little of the resources of either. The power of empowerment can change the world, one person at a time. Always be open to inspiration. You never know where it may come from. Begin with an open mind, end with an inspired heart. What saves a man is to take a step, then another step.
And there are really never endings, happy or otherwise.
When you use your energy and resources to punish people, you run out of energy and resources to protect people.
We live only now. Everything else is either past or is unknown.
If your desire is for good, the people will be good. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Men will not accept truth at the hands of their enemies, and truth is seldom offered to them by their friends.
All the fish needs is to get lost in the water. All man needs is to get lost in Tao.
Never break or fold. That's what it takes to be major.
There's more to logic than identifying logical fallacies.
Man is the only creature who refuses to be what he is. The choices we make dictate the lives we lead. All you have to do is write one true sentence. Write the truest sentence that you know. Weekends don't count unless you spend them doing something completely pointless.
Prioritize your physical and mental health. They are your most valuable assets. Generally in war, the best policy is to take a state intact. To ruin it is inferior to this.
Sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that change us the most. I woke up incredibly grateful today. I'm allowing myself to bask in this feeling.
It's what's in yourself that makes you happy or unhappy.
We have 40 million reasons for failure, but not a single excuse.
It's often only in the lies we refuse to speak that any truth can be heard at all. The mistakes I've made are dead to me, but I can't take back the things I never did.
Life is about accepting the challenges along the way, choosing to keep moving forward, and savoring the journey.
Face reality as it is, not as it was, or as you wish it to be.
Silence is the best answer to someone who doesn't value your words. I am not an optimist, but a great believer of hope. For every dilemma, find at least 3 or 4 possible solutions. The creative process leads to better results.
Having nothing to struggle against, they have nothing to struggle for.
One can get used to ugliness, but never to negligence. You are a wonderful creation. You know more than you think you know, just as you know less than you want to know. Emulate good behavior, that when you encounter people from your past, you won't have to hide yourself away. The things that pose the greatest threats to your survival are the most real things.
If your actions don't live up to your words, you have nothing to say.
Without deep reflection, one knows from daily life that one exists for other people. Believe there is a great power silently working all things for good. Behave yourself and never mind the rest.
Sometimes the questions are complicated and the answers are simple.
A smart person knows how to talk. A wise person knows when to be silent. The ideals which have always shone before me and filled me with joy are goodness, beauty, and truth.
For we can only know that we know nothing, and a little knowledge is a dangerous thing.
If you can't change your fate, change your attitude.
The truth isn't always beauty, but the hunger for it is.
The best way to predict your future is to create it. Don't part with your illusions. When they are gone, you may still exist, but you have ceased to live. A hero is just somebody who does the right thing when it would be far, far easier to do nothing. Give up to grace. The ocean takes care of each wave till it gets to shore. You need more help than you know. Life is like a novel. It's filled with suspense. You have no idea what is going to happen until you turn the page. Learn from stars. Even in the dark they give off light, not despair. It matters not how fast light may travel. Darkness shall always be there, awaiting its arrival. Men occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing had happened. Your heart is a powerful force. Use it consciously. No life is a waste, the Blue Man said. The only time we waste is the time we spend thinking we're alone. What you don't know won't hurt you. The dubious maxim. Sometimes what you don't know can hurt you very much.
Never argue with stupid people. They will drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience.
The beginning of wisdom is the definition of terms.
There is nothing frightening in the dark if you just face it.
There is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. For the world is in a bad state, but everything will become still worse unless each of us does his best.
Manifest plainness, embrace simplicity, choose selfishness, have few desires. If you do not change direction, you may end up where you are heading.
Wanting to be someone else is a waste of who you are. Every person must choose how much truth he can stand. When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
You get what you focus on, so focus on what you want.
Losing your life is not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing is to lose your reason for living.
Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Real courage lies in being able to believe in yourself enough to try again tomorrow, even after a tough day. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Don't turn over the rocks if you don't want to see the pale creatures who live under them.
Time is heavy sometimes. Imagine how heavy eternity must be. Man in general, if reduced to himself, is too wicked to be free.
Free yourself from society's advice. Most of them have no idea of what they're doing.
In war, then, let your great object be victory, not lengthy campaigns. If you're waiting until you feel talented enough to make it, you'll never make it.
Be with someone who inspires you and makes you be the best version of yourself. There are things you can't walk away from, not if you want to live with yourself afterward. Truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away. Religious structure often dilutes the spiritual experience. Things die, but they don't always stay dead. Believe me, I know. In the book of life, the answers aren't in the back. Understanding is a three-edged sword. Your side, their side, and the truth. I need to stop fantasizing about running away to some other life and start figuring out the one I have. The most dangerous irony is, people are angry with others because of their own incompetence. Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. If we thought more for ourselves, we would have very many more bad books and very many more good ones.
It isn't where you came from. It's where you're going that counts. Follow your heart. Listen to your inner voice. Stop caring about what others think.
Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain.
Beyond the fiction of reality, there is the reality of the fiction. There's so much to be grateful for. Words are poor things.
Embrace being perfectly imperfect. Learn from your mistakes and forgive yourself. You'll be happier. One who makes himself a worm cannot complain afterwards if people step on him. You do the same as me or my generation, you will get the same results. BEBOLD. Go against the grain.
The money you make is a symbol of the value you create.
Don't be afraid of the shadows. That only means there's a light nearby.
An education is not so much about making a living as making a person.
Life is short. If you doubt me, ask a butterfly. Their average lifespan is a mere 5 to 14 days. I will be able to forecast which side will be victorious and which defeated. We know what we are, but know not what we may be.
Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished.
To care about your outward appearance is important, but what's more important is to have a beautiful soul.
Life is not measured by what you have. It's measured by what you give.
No greater gift there is than a generous heart.
During a conversation, listening is as powerful as loving.
Realize that everything connects to everything else.
The better organized the state, the duller its humanity. Take care of your body. Remember, health is another form of wealth. Make visible what, without you, might perhaps never have been seen.
Nothing has to be true forever, just for long enough.
Be grateful for what you already have while you pursue what you want.
The fundament upon which all our knowledge and learning rests is the inexplicable. My head'll explode if I continue with this escapism.
It's not that I'm so smart. It's just that I stay with problems longer. All men know the use of the useful, but nobody knows the use of the useless. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing.
There are two ways to live a life: either forget everything or remember nothing. The things hardest to bear are sweetest to remember. The problem with people is they forget that most of the time it's the small things that count. In order to make a precise decision, keep a steady spiritual connection.
Look deep into nature, and then you will understand everything better.
When the actions becomes frequent than the words, success becomes heavier than the dreams. Do more, say less. Whatever stories we make up about ourselves, others will tell a different one. Tried living in the real world instead of a shell, but I was bored before I even began. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things.
The king is only fond of words and cannot translate them into deeds.
Go after what you want in life. Don't just talk about it. Take a step, run. Persistence guarantees that results are inevitable.
Instinct is a makeshift, an admission of helplessness before the problem of reality.
We will all pass through a sorrowful stage in life. When it's your turn, don't let the storm sweep you away.
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. The key to life is accepting challenges. Once someone stops doing this, he's dead.
The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. We are alone, live our lives lacking anything better to do, devise reason later. With one day's reading, a man may have the key in his hands. It is not a daily increase, but a daily decrease. Hack away at the inessentials. Until we can receive with an open heart, we are never really giving with an open heart. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing.
Adapt what is useful, reject what is useless, and add what is specifically your own.
The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
It is hard to fail, but it is worse never to have tried to succeed.
We can't go back and change what happened. It's what we do next that matters.
If I work hard enough, there will be things I can do tomorrow that I can't do today. I don't want life to imitate art. I want life to be art. Some men never die, and some men never live, but we're all alive tonight.
I am certain of nothing but the holiness of the heart's affections and the truth of the imagination. Life isn't supposed to play out the way we want, but the way it happened. It is better to be alone than in bad company. Having perfected our disguise, we spend our lives searching for someone we don't fool. I must be a mermaid, Rango. I have no fear of depths and a great fear of shallow living. An empowered life begins with serious personal questions about oneself. Those answers bear the seeds of success.
Abundance is not the absence of scarcity. It is the presence of abundant mentality.
I always knew on some level that I wouldn't live long. It's simply not written in my stars. Start by doing what is necessary, then what is possible, and suddenly you're doing the impossible.
Not all things that fall down break. Some develop wings.
To see me does not necessarily mean to see my face. To understand my thoughts is to have seen me. In my opinion, our healthcare system has failed when a doctor fails to treat an illness that is treatable. No matter how many people give me advice, I am going to do what my heart tells me to do.
If a general shows confidence in his men, but always insists on his orders being obeyed, the gain will be mutual.